Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just I was thinking on that prerequisite, and how about the mercy and prerequisite? That how we.
How about mercy and
prerequisite?
prayer?
No, prerequisite.
Okay?
Prerequisites.
Prerequisite. Sorry. How about mercy as a prerequisite? Is that what you said? Let me clarify. Are you saying that mercy can be a prerequisite? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I confused that. You said that one has to have that qualification.
And you're asking if mercy can be that qualification?
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying. Srila Prabhupada, he explained like this. The mercy comes in the form of that you now have an opportunity. That's the mercy. In other words, you can't make the opportunity. If it's available, that's mercy. So what's the mercy? That you have the opportunity to participate in Krishna consciousness. But you see, what will never be transgressed is your freedom of choice. You have the choice, even when the mercy is there, whether you want it or you reject it. So it's, in other words, it will always end with you though. Mercy or not, it will always end with us. So mercy is invariably there, because without mercy we don't even have the opportunity. But the opportunity itself is not a qualification. Your desire to avail yourself of that mercy is your qualification. So that qualification cannot be outsourced. You outsource things to India. But this is your prerogative. Nobody else can do it for you. Even when, this is described even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Lord Chaitanya flooded the land with love of God. But he said there were still people who avoided that mercy. That means it was their prerogative not to. And there was no solution to that, actually. Because they had made the decision.
Is it like that both magnet and iron must be there? Magnet in the form of mercy and iron in the form of...
Yeah, I guess, but not a very fitting, because if you're iron, you have no choice, you will be pulled. Here there's a conscious choice. You may choose to avail or you may choose not to. Iron wouldn't have no choice if it's iron. If a magnet came, it's gone. That's more to do with lust, actually. If you're conditioned so, if there's the object of lust there, you're gone. Butter and fire. Alright. Yeah.
One more question. That here it is Raja Rishi, that what you are talking, that saintly kings. So one has to become saintly kings. So as we heard that according to the modes, so Brahman is the one who can receive the proper knowledge in the mode of goodness, and we are here we can see that more emphasis on saintly king. Is it because Krishna is Arjuna is a Kshatriya, or like I just got confusion there? So how it?
It's in the context of the two verses we covered today and the one we covered yesterday, so 3 verses. In that context, Prabhupada said this in the beginning of the purport to 2nd verse, the very first sentence, that the kings had to govern the citizens. So this knowledge was particularly meant for them, because they had to govern the citizens by this knowledge, by this understanding. They had to engage people in their Varna ashram because so much depends upon it. because they understood the science, therefore they could take the trouble to make sure everyone was engaged in their occupational duty according to their varna and their ashram.
Because we see Kshatriyas works in the mode of passion, and what about
Because he's
one-
governing. It's not that his mode of passion doesn't mean he's always, everything is passionate. It's reflected in this tendency to govern. Do you understand? He's a saintly king. That means he has no motive, no ulterior. It's not in the mode of passion per se. But the mode of passion, because it's there, it forces him to govern. You see? He needs to govern. But so that's as far as the mode of passion goes. But he has to be saintly. Now, if he's saintly, he will govern them according to Bhagavad Gita.
That means he has to elevate himself to the level of Brahmana. Also,
Yes, you could say that, but actually what it is, see, now, this is a misunderstanding. First of all, a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all can be advanced. See, this is one thing I think repeatedly we fall into a trap. You can have, if you're one of these varnas, doesn't mean your advancement is locked at a level, no. You may be a Shudra who's very, very advanced. Try to understand. So we're talking about a king who actually is more advanced than an ordinary Brahmin actually. Saint Rajarishi is far superior to an ordinary Brahmin. Now, from a Varna point of view, because the Varna mode of, see, the modes dictate everything. So they dictate your Varna, but it doesn't dictate your advancement. It doesn't put a barrier, it doesn't put a ceiling on your advancement. See, that's why people unfortunately resent this knowledge of Varnashram, because they think it prejudices them, blocks them in a certain way. But that's a misunderstanding. In your Varna, in your ashram, you can reach the highest levels of consciousness, namely pure love of God. So that's my point. If a person is not fit, he will not understand this. He will think, oh. And then he will try to change the Bhagavad Gita because he doesn't want to be kind of stigmatized as being a lower something. But that's not what it does. Yeah, go on.
I have one more.
I think we're compensating for all the days we didn't get questions. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, that's good. But there are so many examples. It's okay.
I have one more small question.
Yeah, go on. What's your question?
On yesterday's, this purport, yesterday's, here Prabhupada, he was giving this all the details like how Kali Yuga was, then when he received this knowledge in Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, the numbers he gave here, he was giving. And the last point, one thing he made that is the rough estimate of the history of the Gita. Again he says that.
Yeah.
So how we can understand this? Is it a proper, or like again there may be something else also?
No, so it's English. You need to know English. Prabhupada saying rough, it's the word rough you're questioning, right? Am I-
Estimate. Yeah.
Rough, yeah, you're questioning that particular. Why not exact? If you read carefully, he says we can understand that at least before Manu was born, sometime Krishna spoke to the sun god. You follow the logic? So Manu's birth is not rough. It's 120,400,000 years ago. Fixed. It is known. When you do a yajna, the Brahmana, he says, in this manvantara, in this year of the Manu, on this sthana, I now do this yajna. You see, so it's known. It's not rough. But what is rough is sometime before that. Could have been plus and minus 100 million years. Not minus, plus. So 120 million, 400,000 years plus. Therefore rough estimate. Do you follow? Do you follow that now?
Thank you.
Go on. All right. Let me take it to him and then... You have a question? Yeah, but since yesterday, I might as well confess publicly, no more comments. I had one comment, I'll never live till I hear. Yeah, it's okay. In this class, no more comments. Only questions and then we end the class. Yeah.
Krishna,
I'll never get over that yesterday, what happened.
we see the disciplic succession starting from Krishna, Brahma,
Yeah.
Narad, Vyas. So Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, and then he disseminated the instructions. So I want to know that we know Vyasadeva, when he appeared, when did he appear?
Vyasadeva?
We know from Bhagavatam that about Vyasadev's appearance. So I am confused about Brahma and Narada's appearance. Means from the
Are you wondering about the disciplic succession
Yeah.
mentioned in the Gita? Brahma, Narada, Vyas. Right. So now I'll explain. Vyas is a contemporary of Bhishma. He's actually brothers, so to speak. Bhishma and Vyasadeva are peers almost. Now that means 5,000 years plus, not too many, right? But now Narada Muni, he is from the beginning of creation, but is also present 5,000 years today. You know, he doesn't have the time. In other words, we're missing a lot of time in history because Narada Muni made Vyasadeva his disciple in not so long ago. You follow? In other words, it's not tracing all the way back to creation because Narada Muni is present from the creation till the present. So, and then Madhvacharya, South India, Udupi, he was a disciple of Vyasadeva. In other words, Vyasadeva has been present since 5,000 years till about 1,000 something years when Madhvacharya came. Is that okay? Well, Brahma is from the beginning. So Narada Muni took instruction from Lord Brahma. He jumps the gap of many years. Personal. For our particular parampara, he has had disciples like Prahlad and Dhruva, but he also has Vyasadeva.
So Brahma lying in this disciplic succession, is it the same when Brahmaji received knowledge from Krishna?
Yes.
Tene Brahma.
Yes. And then he spoke to Narada. He Proktavan, he spoke to Narada. Good, isn't it? Exciting. Yeah. So maybe there's one exception for comments, that's Mataji. But otherwise, no. No,
This is a
you were
trick
not
question.
here yesterday. So something happened. And I'm not the same.
This is not a trick question. What we have just heard, that this is for the Raja Rishis. However, if we look at our disciplic succession, it doesn't seem to go to Raja Rishis.
No, it doesn't.
There's no mention of
Yeah, so I can answer.
This one.
Yeah. So I can answer. Yeah. It's a good question, and it has an answer because it has been answered by Srila Prabhupada.
It's been asked
We
by
are-
many.
We are actually the Bhagavad Vidhi Sampradaya. Our Sampradaya is not the Bhagavad Gita Sampradaya. Actually, we are Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is a Bhagavad Vidhi. In this parampara, the Srimad Bhagavatam travels. It's the handing down of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, it's like this. You have your school, but you may borrow knowledge from another valid school. So the school of the Surya Vansha Kshatriyas is available to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, as it is available to other Sampradayas. But our particular Sampradaya takes knowledge from the Surya Vansha Kshatriyas. This is the Surya Vansha. The Kshatriyas. It's their knowledge we are incorporating in our parampara. But ours is a Bhagavad Sampradaya. Srimad Bhagavatam travels through our line. Now you begin to appreciate. Prabhupada calls all this ABC. Okay? And we've just seen the qualification for ABC. Just imagine, right? What qualification is needed to actually represent the Srimad Bhagavatam as we have received in our parampara. And I'll tell you the one singular qualification. Nirmat Saranam Sata, to be non-envious. And Kaitavatra, the cheating religion. That means Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is thrown out. It's a little leap. Person who understands Bhagavad Gita is called a neophyte. So you are just getting ready, if you do it right, to become able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise you have no access. It's just, I'll let you think about that for a while. But if you have questions, okay.
What do you mean as cheating religion? You gave a quote.
I did. I said Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That means you have to be free from any of those, any shadow of these four. Yeah. So it's a very, it's actually considered the religion of the sannyas ashram, by the way. So just to help you become more flabbergasted, if you're not already flabbergasted. It should. If you're not flabbergasted, then you and I are not communicating. Yeah, the mic's done.
In pursuance of Prabhuji's question,
Mataji's.
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, Prabhuji.
So you told that about saintly kings, they need to govern, so they need knowledge, but we also know that they have to keep brahmanas to take advice. So does it go simultaneously? They also use their own intelligence and brahmanas.
Yeah, I mean, you may be a saintly king, but you're saintly king because you uphold your occupation the way it's meant to be done, which is you always take advice of those in the occupation of brahmanas. Because naturally they have a certain qualification to do that, which is they have no personal motive. They're not on a salary, you haven't bought them, they're not, doing business. So they are very uniquely qualified to give you important advice. And a saintly king will listen to him. As we see in the Bhagavatam, examples of saintly kings listening to brahmanas all the time.
One last, that when Krishna had spoken Bhagavad Gita, so he would not have done like chapter 1, chapter 2. It was must have divided. So who divided it, and And can you again tell the relation between chapter 3 and 4?
The division is done by our acharyas. And they're given, just like I'm doing. I'm teaching you, and I'm giving a kind of a, I don't know if you've noticed, I give a title every time I'm about to speak on a certain verse or set of verses. I know I do it, I don't know if you've noticed it. But that's as a teacher. So our acharyas have, and all the descendant acharyas have preserved their original acharyas division. These names given by Prabhupada actually are not found in other Bhagavad Gitas. You might have noticed, right? Because these are following Bhakti Vinod Thakur's division, by the way. So that's not what, if you go to Gita Press, their name for each chapter is different than the one we have. This is our parampara. So now you're learning some unique features of our parampara, our school. And we should honor our acharyas because it's their prasad we're receiving. We're not a good student if we can't even preserve what our acharyas gave. Alright. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much.